So there's really two range kind of maps that I would really kind of focus on: the small maps and the mid-range kind of maps. So you need really kind of two different classes for those. I'm going to walk you through what I believe is a good beginner type thing. There's all kinds of opinions about this all over the place. I would say on a small map, start with a gun like the Vepr or the, some submachine gun. I like the Vepr. I think it's got some good damage on it as well. But just going to highlight that. One thing, it can be overwhelming when you look at like all the options to put on it. There's 42 different combinations just on the Vepr alone. Then you got all the different guns and all this stuff, and it can be really overwhelming. So I'm going to just give you a real quick idea of what I think it'd be beneficial for a beginner. First thing is put silencers on your guns. When you fire your gun without a silencer, you show up on the mini map of the enemy, and when you do that, you become a target. Many of the enemies are looking, or many of the skilled players are looking at that map, living off that map, and when you show up on that map, they're coming after you. So use the silencer, especially till you get used to being able to navigate around that or anticipate them. The other thing is on a gun like this, a Vepr, it's going to be a fast firing gun already, but you can put more shots on target if you use rapid fire. You pull the trigger, more bullets are going to come out. It can mess up your accuracy as well, so you might play with that one a little bit. Some people would prefer to have the foregrip to kind of bring that down. I don't usually put sights on guns unless you really want to. Sights you could recommend would be the VMR. It would kind of make it a little closer. Probably not for a submachine gun, but that's really how I would view, put a silencer. That's the big thing as a beginner. Stay off the grid as best you can, because they're going to be hunting you that way. I don't put a secondary gun because most beginners don't understand how to switch between guns quickly and use those guns effectively, so it takes up a spot as a perk. So you might as well not use it if you're not going to go there. If you're playing long enough you actually run out of ammo, go pick up a gun somewhere else, but you're really not a beginner then if you're actually staying alive long enough, unless you're shooting the walls. The second thing is I do lethal. Most people would say on this lethal, this is a beginner kind of thing. IED, absolutely, it's a beginner type of thing. You can get kills because somebody trips over it. Also, if you hear the distinct beeps of an IED, back up. That will allow you to avoid getting destroyed by that. That's just a quick tip as well. I also don't use tactical in a beginning setup because tacticals are really used for a lot of gameplays like smoke grenades for domination and things like that. So anyway, I would get rid of that. It gives you another perk as well. So on the perks for this being a small map beginner setup, I like ready up, which gets your gun up faster after sprinting. You can quickly change ammo with sleight of hand. You have agility. You're going to move faster. Also, I put on dead silence because I believe that dead silence for a beginner, the experienced players are using that noise to really kind of hunt you down. So they can hear you in the room next to you or on the floor above or whatever, and they're searching for you using their ears. So if you put dead silence on, that'll give you a little bit of safety and security, and also off the grid, because then you won't show up to those SATCOMs as well. So again, the experienced players are using the maps, they're using the sound to hunt you down. So if you can avoid those type of things, you'll stay alive longer. The final thing here is the support package. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but if you're a beginning player, you should not be using an assault package or specialist. You really should just be using a support package because they accumulate after death. Don't do anything huge here. If you don't use your strike package, then it's a complete waste to even have it on your list. If you've got a Battle Hind or a Helo on here and you're never going to get there, why even have it? So it's kind of pointless. It just takes up room on here. You're never going to use it. It's not a testosterone thing. It's use what you got. The second one I want to run through real quickly is kind of a mid-range. So you're on a mid-range map. You're not going to be running and gunning as much. A lot of people use sniper rifles here. As a beginner, I don't recommend that. I recommend using an assault rifle. The Honey Badger is a great gun because it has very little recoil. It already comes with a silencer on it, so you can use those other two. It's almost like having three attachments already. We'll jump into here real quick. I like the foregrip. It kind of keeps the aim down, but it's really not a huge variance on the gun anyway. The other thing is it's only got 30 shells in it, so adding extra ammo to it is helpful. In this one, I like to have a class, it's beginner too, that has blind eye in it. And blind eye, what it does is when Oracle systems show up, or when air support's there, or the opponent has a Battle Hind, you're not getting blown up all the time. So you could switch to this class, stay out of the zone. Incog is a way that if you're on a larger map, people are going to be using thermal scopes and things like that. This will keep you out of those as showing up like a, bright Christmas tree the day before Christmas. So that's really what you want to kind of avoid. On this one I did put an assault package, but I'm just telling you right now that you should just stay away from that. So that is a quick beginner class setup that I think would be helpful. Play around with the different guns, but definitely put silencer on it. Definitely get off the grid. Those kind of things will help you stay alive longer, and I think dead silence is also something you should consider. Have a great day. This is duguhm89. I am now using the Vepr class gun. I want to cover just a couple quick things. One of the quick things I want to talk about is sensitivity. So notice that how quickly I can move back and forth one way or the other. So that's my sensitivity. That's how I normally play. I'm going to go into, I hit the start button, I'm going to go into options, and you go down to sensitivity. Let's bring it down to like 2. What I want you to see is when I aim, it's much slower than trying to get around. So if I set this back up, just so you know, so you can see, I would recommend, as a new person, you're probably going to be playing around 3 or 4 tops, but because you can't hardly see what's side to side. But as you get more control, you can whip around, get in aim, that kind of stuff. But as a new person, start with a low sensitivity. That'll help you. You might lose some knife fights if somebody runs by you, that kind of thing, but it'll help you in your aim overall. duguhm89. Have a great day.